Hello everyone, I am the Lore Explorer, and this is the Outer Wilds. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know how much I love this game. I've spent a lot of time in-game, immersing myself in the universe, just trying to absorb all the knowledge I can. Today, I'm going to try to use that knowledge to talk about the game's design, and how that design fits into the message I see after playing the game over and over again. The Outer Wilds has a pretty interesting story behind its creation. The lead developer, Alex Beecham, was going to school at USC to get his master's degree in game design. While there, the school would give him little prompts to create projects around. A lot of the projects he would make centered around space and space exploration. He'd create things like spaceships able to fly around a little planet. He made one where a planet would get bombarded by a volcanic moon, and as it got hit, the surface would start to break up and fall in a black hole below. In another, he made one where you'd sit on the moon. You'd roast a marshmallow around a campfire and watch helplessly as the sun goes supernova. Ultimately, Alex drew on his inspiration from his wonder of space and space exploration. The Outer Wilds does something very strange in terms of game design. The game gives you no objectives. There's no tutorial in which you are forced to take part in, although we do have to talk to one Hearthian to get the launch codes for the launch pad. Hornfels gives you no suggestions of what to do. Instead, they ask you, what do you plan to do? And if you've been curious, there are already many options. On the way to the observatory, the game introduces you to the Outer Wilds universe with the observatory. At the entrance is some strange statue, and further inside we find rocks that disappear and reappear in separate locations when being observed and again unobserved. We find a small crystal with a stronger gravitational pull than your entire planet, but only when you're close to it. There are also pictures spread throughout the observatory with interesting sights. Everything in the observatory is hand-placed to make you wonder. Where did that statue come from? Can I visit the locations in these pictures? What is that tiny little hellfish in that little tank? Any curious player is going to be relieved after playing for a while. I haven't played a game this free for 9 or 10 years, since Fallout New Vegas' opening mission is simply to find Benny, whom you know nothing about. Unfortunately, today, most open-world games are filled with hundreds of procedurally generated locations, and most of them have characters there, added just to dictate your life and have you run endless fetch quests, stuck in an endless loop for character progression. But Outer Wilds gives you another way to experience an endless loop. Every 22 minutes, come hell or high water, the sun is going to kill you. But this isn't to suggest that death is inevitable. Though that's mostly true, the Outer Wilds never misses an opportunity to make you wonder, what's causing the sun to explode? Not only is the sun going supernova reliably, afterwards we wake like nothing ever happened. Our memories play back. It looked like what happened when I walked past that weird statue. Hal totally told me that was an hallucination, and I was hoping that was true. It seemed like the most reasonable explanation, but I'd be lying if I said my first trip wasn't to Giant's Deep. I just had to find the Hearthian who brought this thing back. Like, bro, what the hell? But the game doesn't just use the dynamic solar system and environment to instill this sense of wonder. The entirety of the Nomai are designed to want to make us explore. We want to follow in the hoofprints of their species. I doubt there is many of us who wandered past a grav cannon and didn't try our hand at flying a Nomai shuttle, or get to the Hanging City and try a few loops just to get to the black hole forge on the ceiling. The Outer Wilds Venturers were founded to explore, and we are the perfect member. Tracking down each Nomai location and logging the information we find will make Hornfels proud. Piecing this knowledge together is not some easy task. The game is structured pretty uniquely. There's no set order to discover things, and since knowledge is the only progression in the game, this quickly spirals into a brilliant pieced-together story. The Know My text is designed to point you to 4 main pieces to the puzzle, each piece giving us a better understanding of the universe. We visit the giant gravity cannon and read about the mischievous pair of Nomai who blew it up. They set the power too high so the probe could fly as far and as fast as possible. But reading further in the scrolls tells us the power source of the cannon won't function. But we just saw it fire. How is that possible? After a while, we all just kinda have to admit, we're down the rabbit hole, and it doesn't get any better from here. Once you solve the Ash Twin puzzle, for example, there are still tons of questions about it. As if to reassure us, we find Know My text in the statue workshop where they are wondering the same thing as us, or at least I am. If we send our memories back 22 minutes, is that the same as sending me back? Not my physical body, but my essence. Daz, who I'm pretty sure invented the memory statues, responds by saying, I imagine these are 2 separate actions. Cassava probes further by asking, wouldn't they effectively be the same? Again, Daz is the voice of reason. Suppose time is being rewritten. I believe this is different than receiving memories from the future. So, to explain this, if time were being rewritten, then we'd receive memories from events that never happened. But that's not what the ATP is doing. It's not taking you and placing you 20 minutes in the past. It's sending your memories to a different version of you that's already there, at least according to Daz, and I tend to agree. And this is also further highlighted by the ATP's new ending. If we send our memories in the ATP, yet jump in the black hole as well, the black hole does its thing. It sends us 22 minutes in the past, yet somehow we wake up next to the campfire on Timber's hearth as a completely different Hearthian, one who was already at the campfire when you jumped in. But even further, what does this really mean? Does the ATP create this phenomenon? Does the black hole? Still wondering, we have to continue to explore. Our curiosity has led us to the Quantum Moon, one of the most mysterious locations in the game, but also one sort of at odds with the other planets and their designs. All of the other planets have multiple interesting locations, yet once we reach the fabled 6th location, it's stone as far as the eye can see. Although we could just turn around and go home, we press on, and boy do we get rewarded for our curiosity yet again. Unless my eyes are playing tricks on me. Nope, that's definitely a Nomai. Finally! Surely they will have all the answers we need. Hey, Solanum, nice to meet you. Hey, quick question, just out of curiosity. How do I prevent a supernova? No, no such luck. She asks you questions. Like a true space explorer, Solanum wants to know what would happen if we visit the source of all quantum fluctuations. All of the uncertainty in the universe has a source, and Solanum wants to go poke it with a stick. I think some genius behind the Outer Wilds lie behind these characters. The Nomai and Hearthians are a great representation of someone who would like the Outer Wilds. If we didn't want to poke everything with a stick, we'd never made it this far in the game. After 100 separate lives for a few days, we find out the sun is dying naturally. Almost all stars we can see fade out. We are trapped in a loop by a Nomai invention that we can't seem to find a way out of. What is the point of all of this? It's like the whole system was designed to make us feel pointless. We've watched our friends die 100 times. And the worst part is, when we wake up, we can't even warn people. 22 minutes isn't enough time to save them, let alone convince them, and nothing we have done has helped. Our only hope is to bust out our marshmallow stick and get to poking. Doing so finally gets us to the eye of the universe. Not being able to go back and not being able to let go, we watch our friends die one last time. But this time, the sun's plasma doesn't reach you. Without a core, the ATP is disabled. Our memories are stuck with us. The whole weight of the universe is on our shoulders. We do what Harthians, and ultimately humans, do. We explore. The ATP was able to save us from a supernova, so it's still possible to save everyone, right? We enter the eye and we can immediately tell we aren't in the crater anymore. Well, that's one poke down. It plops us down at the observatory, the place that's filled us with wonder ever since we were a hatchling. Reminiscing through all the puzzles 100 dead Harthians solved, we can climb through the ramp to the telescope. Where the map usually lay is a brilliant set of lights. Where did I put that stick? Poke. The whole universe fades away, but new lights appear in the distance. Galaxies float through the forest like a million fireflies in the trees. Interesting to note, it's showing you these at two vastly different scales. The entire universe in its glory, and yet small galaxies pale in comparison to trees for symbolism's sake. Though even these fade out as we explore, leaving us in a complete darkness. And with that, we find ourselves in a plane of sorts. This sort of looks a bit like home. Maybe there really is some hope after all. After a short while, we see a copy of ourselves. I still to this day wonder why. Self turns into a tree, which we convert into an unlit campfire. And poke? After it's lit, we find more familiar trees appear. Looking out into the forest, hoping to spot something, anything that reminds us of home, we end up a bit disappointed. But turning back to the campfire, Esker's rocking chair sits next to it. By this point, we are veterans. Spinning around makes our friend Esker appear. Well, yet again, they ask more questions. Do you hear music in the trees? But with Esker here, we know there is hope. We know there's a chance that we can save our friends. Tracking down the signals, we only find instruments playing themselves. What's interesting here is each Harthian's instrument is in a location that brought them, or us, wonder. Rebik and their Nomai ruins, Chert and his stars, Gabbro and his relaxation. I mean, seriously, how were they so calm? Even the friggin' Dalai Lama couldn't meditate in the face of a supernova. Finally, we've tracked down all the instruments, and their players now sit safely around the campfire. Well, it's not everyone, but yes! I rescued all of the explorers. It's freaking awesome. Huh? What's that? Sure, yeah, we could play a song. That'd be a great way to celebrate, right, guys? It's not everyone, but we brought our friends through the end of the universe. Happily ever after. Satisfaction. But wait, what the heck? The smoke in the campfire is starting to coalesce. After a while, it starts to grow into a big ball and starts to flash. All of the possibilities in the universe right before our eyes. But no worries, we have the most inquisitive minds with us around this campfire. We can ask them what to do. and I bet you can guess exactly what they want to do. Why, poke it with a stick, of course. The weight of the universe now shared by our friends, and poke? What's happening? Where are my friends going? Why is it expanding after just condensing? Is this more about the scale of things? After just having witnessed our universe die, we witness another's birth. We even see new creatures living on thanks to our actions 14.3 billion years later. But come on, did you have to give me all this hope just to take it away? We saved our friends only to have them torn away at the last second. It seems so pessimistic. I see this upsets a lot of people, and I can understand why. It leaves some people with the impression the game is about inevitability and death. I'm sorry, but I have to shut that down. This whole game has been about how everything is possible, existing in every possible state at once until observed. Then, the innumerable possibilities collapse. If we don't meet Solanum, the bug creatures in the end slide don't exist. If we create self with the ATP and don't jump in the next loop, space-time breaks. My point is, the outcome can differ, nothing inevitable about it. And as I read this next bit, try to keep in mind all the dead versions of us, and the scale of things. It sounds sad, but I hope it'll restore your appreciation for the ending of the game. Now to do so, I'm going to quote Dan Harmon, co-creator of Rick and Morty. I'm going to change it slightly, just to give it a personal touch. The planets are dying. The sun is exploding. The universe is cooling. Nothing is going to matter. The further back you pull, the more that truth endures. But when you zoom in on Timber's hearth, when you zoom in to the Know My Families, or a brain of a Hearthian child full of wonder, you see, all these things truly do matter. And knowing that truth, that nothing matters, in some moments can save you. Once you get through the terrifying threshold of accepting that, then every place is the center of the universe, and every moment is the most important moment, and everything is the meaning of life. Every choice the Know My made brought us to the eye, and all those dead versions of us, whose lives may seem wasted, they are the ones who actually solved this puzzle, each one's decision, one at a time. They allowed us to create a new universe. What makes their decisions any less important than the final one to visit the eye, or hell, even the eye itself? That scale, it goes both ways. But ultimately, my interpretation of the game may just flat out be wrong, which would still leave me here wondering what the hell happened in the final act, which is why I feel so strongly that wonder is the core message of the game. Through the wonder we had at the beginning of the game, we have been able to explore and understand the solar system. In the end, we used the knowledge that was rewarded to us from 100 ghosts, and then without knowing, we used it to ensure that wonder still continues on in the universe. And honestly, as a species, that applies in our everyday lives as humans. Every day you wonder about something, and you take that, and you use it to learn, which to me is the most important thing in the universe. All of the advancements we made as a species can ultimately be contributed to wonder. So, I kept theories out of this video, though some of it is based on my interpretation of the game, which are ultimately affected by my theories. Though, I don't think what really happens at the end is all that important for this video. What's really important is the wonder and time you've spent on Timber's Hearth. The Hearthian, who sat at the Owl Rock to keep Esker company as his son ate them. All of them just as important as the eye itself. And remember, poke it with a stick. For now, this is the Lore Explorer, trying to clear the ending's name to one of ultimate success, since it surely left us all in awe and wondering what the hell actually happened.